Hi everyone. I wanted to sit down and talk about Dark Souls 2 today. After making the Dark Souls 1 video, it only feels right to keep going and make a video about Dark Souls 2. Now, from the title of the video, you can probably guess that I don't feel as strongly about Dark Souls 2 as I do with Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 2 is, I would say, without a doubt, the most divided game in the series, and I think the game does a great job at holding that title. I want to talk about my feelings towards the game after my first playthrough, and also how my feelings towards the game changed after I went back and 100%ed the game. With Dark Souls 2, I feel like you are one of two people. You either hate this game or you love it. Now, I don't hate this game, but I also don't love it, but I also don't think I'm in the middle. I lean a bit more towards not liking the game. However, I also don't think that Dark Souls 2 is the biggest piece of dog shit on the planet. There are parts to enjoy in this game, but there's also a lot of really, really bad shit in this game that I really don't like. And I feel that the reason it stands out in Dark Souls 2 is because it happens more often and is more severe in Dark Souls 2 compared to any of the other games. Like, sure, all the games have some annoying parts with annoying enemies that like to gank you, but DS2 turns that dial up to like 180. Like, one of the things I hate the most about this game is that every area feels like such a damn chore to get through because it is just filled to the brim with the most randomly placed enemies that are just there to make the area harder. But instead of making the area more difficult in a good and fun way, it just makes it really annoying and boring. And it feels like this in basically every area. So if your locations in your game don't feel fun and feel more like a chore to get through, you have to make up for it in other areas. But they just don't really do that, in my opinion. The bosses are the weakest in the series and are very boring. None of them ever felt really hard. And my god, if you die, I am so sorry because those fucking boss runbacks are terrible in this game. It's seriously like dropping bricks on your balls over and over again, especially in like Sir Alon's boss run. Like, holy shit, that was just an actual form of torture. DS2 left a sour taste in my mouth after my first playthrough. I really didn't like it, especially after having an amazing experience in Dark Souls 1. I was very disappointed. I was just glad it was over, and after the first playthrough, my stance on the game was definitely all the way to the I hate this game side. When I was doing my rounds 100%ing the Souls games, DS2 eventually came around, and to be honest, I was dreading doing that 100% completion the entire time. But I still decided to go through it and get the 100% completion. But this second playthrough was much different than the first. I was actually enjoying myself quite a bit. Even in the worst parts of the game, I was actually having quite a bit of fun. I also realized how great the selection of weapons and armor are, and I strongly agree that DS2 has the best selection of weapons and armor out of the three Souls games. Power stancing is an awesome option. I power stance great swords throughout like the entire game, and it was fucking awesome. It made my little dumb monkey brain very happy to just go bonking everything on the head with two giant great swords. Bonfire aesthetics are an amazing item, and I hope they'll make a reappearance in a future FromSoft title because they are seriously very great and handy items. All three of the DLCs are absolutely the best part of the game, and they're definitely some of the stronger DLCs in the series. After I finished the Dark Souls 2 100% completion, I was converted over to the side of thinking the game was good. But that wouldn't last for very long because I started thinking about it and realized that even though I had a lot more fun on my second playthrough, there was still so much that I really didn't enjoy. So much that was still pretty ass, in my opinion. And that's where I am now. I think the best way that I can put my feelings about Dark Souls 2 into words is that I don't think the areas or the bosses inherently suck and are that terrible. They're just so much weaker than the rest of the Souls series that I look at the game in a more negative light because there isn't much that the game excels at, so it can't really use anything to help hide the more negative parts of the game, which I feel Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 3 are able to do much better. I really think the best way to play Dark Souls 2 is to not watch any content about it, which is like kind of fucking obvious for really any game, I guess. But what I mean is that by going into the game blind, you can form your own opinion about how you feel towards Dark Souls 2. When I was playing my first playthrough, I kind of let YouTube videos influence my opinion a bit, which is why I disliked the game so much, I think. But with my second playthrough, I came in with an empty mind, ready to reform my opinion about Dark Souls 2, and that is exactly what happened. I think Dark Souls 2 is just an alright game. I feel pretty good putting it just right in the middle. It's just okay. I'm glad it exists as a game. It had a lot of ideas, and a lot of them were pretty bad, but some were really, really fantastic. It did a lot of experimenting, and I respect that. I'm always going to recommend Dark Souls 2 to everyone because, hey, you might really enjoy it. It might be your favorite, and that's fantastic. This definitely isn't as lengthy as a video as the Dark Souls 1 video, but I kind of feel like it would have been the same song and dance before. I didn't like these things, I liked these things. So I just tried to shorten all my talking points up because I think you guys get the idea. It's got some good parts and some bad parts. But I do plan on making a lengthy video about Dark Souls 3, as I do have a lot to say about that game. So watch out for whenever I decide to get that video done. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. See you later.